New midnight class changes 17th of December. What's up guys, Petko here, welcome for another video. Yes, the weekly class changes finally came through, although they've been a little bit early. There's been not so many changes this time around, however impactful enough for us to make a video and talk about it. Let's dive in. Alright, so first thing, we have a Demon Hunter as always. They buffed Annihilator Vengeance GH, nobody played that one, everybody played Eldraki. However, now with the nerf of Eldraki Vengeance GH, you might want to swap around to Annihilator. This is the second consecutive nerf to Vengeance. However, you have to keep in mind, Vengeance was really OP, so all of these nerfs are well deserved to balance Eldraki and Annihilator. The question is, what's going to be better? The answer is we're going to be trying out today and see exactly what's up. But yes, damage got nerfed on Eldraki big time. Also, Fail's card Havoc got buffed a little bit, tiny bit. In general, Havoc received also some nice buffs. As you can see here, all damage increased by 10%. Glaive Tempest now triggers once you attack 3 targets instead of 4. You never played Glaive Tempest as Eldraki, by the way. You always played as Failscar. And I feel like the buff to Failscar plus Glaive Tempest buff here, you might actually switch to Failscar instead of Eldraki, although the Eldraki gameplay is much better. But flat damage increase is going to be helpful for all builds. Overall, this is not enough. I think Havoc needs a lot more than that, but again, step in the right direction. They nerf the damage, but make Glaive Tempest much easier to actually trigger and consume less fury. Vengeance GH on top of the nerfs to Eldraki, they've also nerfed you Shatter Soul's healing by a little bit, and Thick Skin gives you more armor instead of less armor, so again, physical damage is going to be tankier. Moving forward to Press Evoker, it just received some healing changes, some healing buffs, and also damage buffs. Again, welcoming changes. They nerf overall healing, but they also increase the healing of specific spells to balance out this one. So Emerald Blossom, Living Flame, which again, I don't think you healed with Living Flame anyway, but Emerald Blossom, I guess, why not? Reverberation also got buffed. Overall, sure. I mean, I'll take it. Nothing big, I guess, more big damage-wise instead of healing-wise, but I'll take it. Paladin. So Protection Paladin was awaiting the changes that obviously everybody expected them to come because Prot Paladin was the biggest paper tank right now. However, look at the buffs. So Ages of Light is going to give you 35% more armor instead of 20% more armor. That's insane. That is 55% perma armor up, which is insane. Word of Glory healing increased by 100%. I think it should be even more than that. Ardent Defender is now going to be 1.5 cooldown instead of 2 minutes. Guardian of the Ancient King is going to be now a 3-minute cooldown instead of 5. Keep in mind you can play double charge Guardian of the Ancient Kings, which is actually pretty cool. Armor granted by Shield of Righteousness increased by 30%. Again, it's fine. More healing, and you're going to get healed more inside your Consecration. Fine. I mean, that's overall very healthy buffs for Protection Paladin, in my opinion. And I am 100% sure because their damage was already insane, and their, I guess, utilities considered one of the best comparing to other tanks. So this step, it might push them to, I don't know, top 3 tank or so. We need to see. We need to play it to see it, but overall, very good. Moving forward to Warlock, Hellcaller has been buffed. Now keep in mind, Hellcaller was already pretty weak on Destruction, but then Affliction was still the go-to, so that is very good 30% buff on Hellcaller. Generally doesn't matter if you play Destro Affliction, and also they buffed on top of that Affliction a little bit more with Agony and Unstable Affliction to remove damage. Destruction also got buffed as Hellcaller, but you're never gonna play that one. Soul Harvester received significant buffs. I still think it's gonna be quite weak compared to Hellcaller, but we're gonna give it a try, see what's up. Affliction Cove of the Week updated. Once you cast Unstable Affliction or Seal Corruption, you get CDR on Dark Harvest by 1.5 seconds instead of 3 seconds. The problem is, you just don't have enough points to play this talent, unfortunately. But because they buffed it by 300%, you're probably gonna play it. You're gonna shift some points around to play that one because 300% is crazy buff. They buffed also your Apex Talents by 100% to do more damage. That means Horns have to be used on cooldown even in an AoE. Shadow Bolt drains more damage, that's better single target. Unstable Affliction more ST. It's not enough, by the way. Unstable Affliction needs a buff by 30%. So they nerfed it by 70%, nerfed it again by 25%, and now they're buffing by 15%. They should buff it more. Agony does more damage. Malefic Grasp, nobody cares. You don't play that in Mythic Plus, only in Raid. And Glare is gonna do more damage and corruption by 50%. Ladies and gentlemen, Affliction Warlock was down bad on single target, but after those buffs, not only you're gonna get better single target, but also you're gonna get better AoE too. So we're gonna be trying out, dude, but that's hella good buffs to Affliction. Demonology, Hellbent Commander was not working correctly. It gave you only flat 2% buff on disregarding how many demons you have, and keep in mind you're gonna have always like 10-15 demons, even more than that, depends on your haste. So you're gonna get for free between 10-15% more damage. But because they fixed that, they nerfed the Minion of Argus Jailer by 20%. They buffed the Argus Antoran by 100%, but they also nerfed the Doomguard damage, they nerfed the Wild Imp damage, and they nerfed also Hand of Gul'dan. So the Hand of Gul'dan was pretty high on the overall meters, Imps as well, and Doomguard, but I'm not sure if the buff to the Minion of Argus is going to offset that. But nonetheless, you're going to get buff also by Hellbent Commander, so all of this here might come as net neutral change for Demonology. If anything, also could be a buff depending on your haste values as well. And obviously, if they fix the Hellbent Commander, I just woke up, so I haven't logged into beta servers to check it out, but because they changed the value to 1%, I would assume by 99.9% it's actually fixed, and it's also stacking. Okay, moving forward to Destro Lock. Now, Destro is already doing pretty decent, I would say, in Mythic Plus, even though it's been nerfed. I considered it above average performer, but look at his buffs, dude. Echo of Sargeras, 150% more damage. Dude, you're gonna like, this was already pretty high on overall, by the way. You're gonna explode in damage. Overfiend buff by 30%. Chaos Bolt buff by 25, boys. You were playing the Chaos Bolt. So the Chaos Bolt build was already better than Ring of Fire, and because they didn't buff Ring of Fire here, Chaos Bolt build is gonna be even better. Incinerates, whatever, damage increase, conflagrate, also whatever. I guess it's gonna be good for single target increasement here. So ST on Destro was a little bit wanker, so this is gonna be actually insane buffs for Destro too. Although you don't play Shadowburn either way, but yeah. Overall, every single lock spec is eating very good so far. And last but not least, you're gonna have Warrior. So Slayer Iron's Warrior has been nerfed a little bit. Although keep in mind, we did some Slayer Iron's Warrior builds testing, and they were doing really well. Like, not even joking. Like, unsurprisingly, Arm Slayer was blasting, bro. Like, definitely above average performer. Although Colossus Arms is completely dead. Like, it's actually so dog shit. So yeah, it's a small nerf to Arm's opportunities damage. That's fine. I mean, overpower is actually pretty high in overall, so sure. Nobody plays Slayer Fury, it's terrible anyway, it doesn't matter. Arm's Crushing combo has been updated. Cold Smash causes your next 3 cleaves within 20 seconds, trigger no cooldown. Ooh. That is, I mean, triple cleave back to back is gonna trigger Reap the Storm, the Slayer talent. That's insane, actually. Also, Fury is getting a redesign on a spec specific trees, which is gonna be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's more quality of life updates here for Fury, if anything, so that should make the builds more flexible, which is actually gonna be fine. It's gonna make your Bloodthirst now a lot bigger priority to press, because sometimes you would ignore it to press back to back to back. For example, your excess rage spender Rampage. Although, yeah, that's everything so far, but there's been a few more changes here I want to mention. So the first one here is being the slight redistribution of power and restoration druid. Intensity has been nerfed a little bit here, and I believe the growth value has been nerfed in general. However, they buffed the wild growth, so I guess less prior healing, less healing in general with the regrowth, but more healing with wild growth. That's fine. And also one more thing that they've done is Mage, Arcane Mage. Now your Apex talents were updated. So the third note is gonna make Touch of Magie do a lot more damage than before, as you can see. Also increases Arcane Master damage by 10-20% additionally, and Touch of Magie increases damage of the next target received from you by 20%. And Touch of Magie of the Archmage was not been hitting the notes we wanted it, both in gameplay and tuning, so we're buffing up the last node and redesigning the first node to no longer increase Touch of Magie charges and putting that budget into a Touch of Magie burst window instead. Okay, well, you heard it here. Now you are going to be feeling stronger Touch of Magies. And a very, very small change for the Retribution Paladin. If you opt to play the new build, which is the auto, like the Holy Power being regen passively because of Crusader strikes instead of Templar strikes. You're now gonna get your auto attack decreased by 35 instead of 50. So, aka they're buffing the new build on the Retribution Paladin by a slight amount, and some hotfixes here. That's it. That's everything so far for this build. Slightly shorter one, but I am looking forward to log in, test Warlock specs because I think they're gonna be blasting. Once again, Sunday, we shall update a tier list based on the most recent changes. I am pretty disappointed to see that there's been no buffs to BM Hunter because BM right now is actually down bad. There are no buffs also to Windwalker Monk, which is also doing terrible. Subrogue, Pharaoh Druid, for example. Haven't seen any buffs in those regards. Those classes need actually a very big attention to them because right now they feel terrible to play. Havoc buffs, I don't think they're big enough. I wish they get even more than that, but I guess a win is a win, right? Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. See you guys next time. Follow for more. Bye for now.